evening, folks. Thanks for checking out this video here on Games for Gamers. Today's background music is brought to you by Amiga Remix. Amiga, of course, was another computer by Commodore that followed the Commodore 64 and the 128 in the late 80s, early 90s. It was one of the first graphically rich computers at the time, and it sort of followed the lineage of Commodore personal computers. So today I wanted to go through and talk about the new daily mission gear that is available. And this is the new gear that they are giving you in-game as kind of a replacement for the fact that they really have nerfed the quick actions, and also in the process of kind of nerfing the quick actions, they ruined snappy service, but not exactly. So I wanted to start by showing you my new PvP offensive team and kind of go through it and discuss with you how I'm using and kind of getting around what's going on with QAs now. And then we'll go over to the wiki and I'll give my opinion on the ones that are there, say the ones you should go for, say the ones that really aren't worth trying for despite initial appearance. So here's my 5 on offense, here's my 5 on defense. On defense, I've moved the elite ISO over to my agent, but when I actually take attacks, I steal it from him, my bruiser, and I actually bring it over to Molly, and I take out Molly's melee attacks, increase defense, the defensive fighter one. And it's worked out really well. Yes, I do still run the mandible as it still has some solid use, but I may eventually run the spider set. What I like to do is in round 1 I see based on where Molly goes in the turn, and I look for watchful eye, and I make the decision between these two right here, which are not up in the same turn anymore. So basically I cosmic shield Molly, I do one of these 2 items depending on what is dictated by the enemy, and then I prism Molly. Now, PC Lamb pointed out to me in a conversation on Facebook that the Emerald Prism's glow has a mini soak in it. By soak, I mean the Scroll of Aknazak, or the Indomitable Spirit that is on both when Have does his stuff and Thundra personally. For some reason, I never noticed this. I think they might have sneaked that in there somewhere, or maybe I've just been blind the entire time. But it says, while active, beneficial effects are not removed by enemy attacks or harmful status effects, which means like you can't have something scrolled off or black is voided, but Pesty still beats this. I never knew that. I really just never paid attention to it. I always used it for the stacking, attack, and defense. But so if I see Enchantress on the other side and Molly hasn't gone yet, I will exhaust them. By the way, I truly felt that, and I'll touch upon this in tomorrow's or later today's, tomorrow's, still early, week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. I felt that actually the Pesty Enchantress teams were going to get way worse for me this season because of not only a protector agent, but the protector with the elite ISO. I'm like, man, Molly's gonna have to go through that person. If she's really weak, she might not beat the drain. Well, I kind of discovered that what has happened now with Enchantress is that if she is exhausted, one of her free actions is the end of story. Believe it or not, she actually makes an active decision to recharge, similar to if Deadpool is got adhesive X on him before he uses his level 1, he'll recharge. So I'm happy to see that exhausting Enchantress makes her even weaker than before, and she only gets 1 sympathy off, and it's usually the alluring voice, and then her turn is over. If Molly has gone and there's a Hugins Eye on the other side, I, of course, use the scroll. On defense, these guys are getting it done, and they're not. I mean, they're doing okay. I have Das Boot in here. This is Sparta. The Hugins Eye with the elite ISO. The weather control device, the scroll, the Mystic. So the Mystic is protection in round 1, hopefully. And probably the AI is going to get the scroll kind of early, I hope. And then spend the rest of his days weather controlling and mysticking, and maybe hitting an agent, locking out tech. And this is just a no active use item. I could put the Gauntlet Caress in there. I think I had the Black Roscoe in there for a little bit. But I shouldn't really be creating a lot of counters unless the enemy team is doing it. And we are still all bruisers, so Molly's going to help. And Null needs to be trained after Heimdall to 15. And that will, of course, further buff him. Honestly, either one, like, all three of these guys could make good use of that elite ISO. But I have it on the agent instead. And honestly, you know, Null, I could place it on Null, but Null is kind of easy to shut down as a tank. So, I didn't do that. Alright. So, looking at the gear here on the wiki, we see the daily mission gear. Mostly the ones in green are the new ones. And I'll kind of give you my opinion of like high, medium, and low. And low is just like avoid at all costs. It's herpes. So we have the Adrenaline Injector. Grants restores stamina as a free action. Good for PvE, crap for PvP. Breath of the Nile, a take on Source of the Nile, which was a old Havoc related item. It is a quick action that causes energy rebound. It has a 2-round cooldown and it starts cooled. So this is very, very similar to the Rectifier, except it's not providing any of the hit and crit buffs, it's just doing the healing. I place this one as medium because I'm just not impressed. Why the starting cooldown? It's not that powerful. The Rectifier is more powerful, and it doesn't have a starting cooldown other than the fact that you paid for the Rectifier. The Crooked Branch doesn't have a starting cooldown. Here we have Coria Gigantum, which is the Glass Tan. What they did is the Glass Tan was usable as a quick action with Snappy Service, but there is a small difference, and the Glass Tan is actually better, so I place this one as a medium. Chance to become intangible. It still has the starting cooldown, the 2-round cooldown, but it says chance to become intangible when an enemy attacks. If we look at the Glass Tan, you just do. Well, okay, it does say 60% chance. Okay, here's the deal. The Glass Tan has the chance on use to do it. Yeah, maybe they're just... Okay, I guess I see what they're doing. Is they're just wording out the fact that it's the 60, whereas on the Glass Tan, they didn't spell it out. Okay, alright, so it's the same, but it's a free action. Combat Acceleration Initiative. Performs a follow-up to the next single target attack. It's a free action. All allies. This I would actually rate as fairly high, as... yeah, it's got a 3-round cooldown, but it's not bad if you don't have something that puts out a good flanked. This sort of is a forced flank, and it's not a debuff that needs to be out on the enemy. It's a buff for you, so if you need to accelerate somebody, and you know what their follow-up is, like let's say Deadpool again, you could lead with his level 2, he does his level 2 and his level 1 all in one round, and then he's ready for his level 6 the next round. The Concentrated Gamma Emitter is a quick action that says all enemies get radiation exposure, and all enemies get this new thing called Gamma Exposure, where any nearby energy attacks apply radiation. This is, of course, a take on the Gamma Radiation Emitter, which is not a quick action. However, this can't even be a quick action, so this green version is an upgrade. Range, tech, and energy. So there is no way that the Gamma Emitter can ever become a quick action or free action unless you get this. So I would actually consider this pretty high. Good with Red Hulk, good with Energy Heroes, Havoc, Moonstone. You could really set up for Moonstone's Big Bang to do a lot of damage with this. Constructive Field. It is a free action that says all allies gain a shield that restores health over time. Personally, I find the best shield in the game to be the Custom Magnetic Field Generator, but this is not bad, especially if you're running some kind of phasing group where you could just kind of do some subtle items and sit with a shield and a healing shield for a little while. Crow's foot. I would actually say this one is low. The reason being is they took away the very thing that made the caltrop launcher unique. What's missing down here? Okay, it's a free action, nice. Hits all enemies, nice. But it can be tanked. This isn't subtle or stealthy. Melee attacks cause bleeding to the attacker and will immediately hemorrhage. I have 2 of these. This is not really impressive. The reason being is the caltrop launcher from the Flag Smasher situation, it actually says you are shaken. You cannot do ranged attacks. Think of the wombo combo of setting somebody up to not be able to do ranged and then run something like the Quicksilver ISO, or run Quicksilver, or run the Hugins Eye and tank. Really poor implementation. I rate this as a low. If for some reason you ran a bleeder group or were seeing so many crazy melee and you wanted to make them pay for it, upgrade it to a high-low, but I consider this low, especially since I have the caltrop launcher. The cuff support is a take of the cuff link from the integrated intelligence set. It is a quick action that allows you to apply rising up, a chance to apply the rising up buffs to yourself. It is the non-upgraded version of what would eventually become this little item here, which is the cuff interface, which then goes up to the cuff link. This is the highest form over here. The cuff link is better if you have it because of the fact that it has a set piece bonus with the integrated intelligence set. The problem is that it's only a quick action if you're running snappy service. This one guarantees you that it's a quick action. Do note that it is only a self rising up. I rank it as a low because there's other ways for the agent to do it that won't consume the QA, like Blade of the Guardian. Early warning radar. Everybody gets evasion. Or no, yes, everybody gets evasion. Nice free action, low. It's only 1 rising up buff. It consumes a slot. Very, very low. Some of these others here with the red do not have descriptions yet, so we cannot find out, although I'm sure the Curse Cup is probably a Doom Cup. Famine's Post is a take on Famine's Toll from the 4 Horsemen Spec Ops. All enemies get privation. They get Starving, Thirst, and Withered, which is the big one. Reduces damage by 10%, stacks up to 3 times, so a max 30%. Of course, it's a take on Famine's Toll. This is not a matter of changing the item, it's just providing it to you in case you don't have it. It is identical. The Fantastic Formulary. All allies get Fantastic Formula. You gain a buff to attack, defense, accuracy, or evasion. Kind of like a rising up, but in a different category. It actually affects the stats directly rather than giving you strengthened, which then gives you attack, or fortify, which then gives you defense. It is a take on the old Fantastic Formula, which I believe was one of the original broken buggy items in PvP that made people forced into refresh many, many years ago. The Fantastic Patch, again, Fantastic Formula and a free action, all allies, 4-round cooldown. Now, the, is this one 4 also? Oh, this one's 2. I wonder what the difference is between the two here. There is the Fantastic Fix in-game, and I will go ahead and point that out. I got a lot of them at some point. I don't remember if it was daily missions or if perhaps it was a lockbox. I think it was dailies. By the way, on 9/11, really stupid shitty date played on. I don't know why I did that. I will be opening my frost boxes on recording over here, and then I'll actually I'll finish my Hyperion lockboxes at the time. So the Fantastic Fix is right here for me. It is a quick action if you are running Snappy Service, and it's pretty much the exact same thing. So this is one of those cases where they are helping you to have something be a QA. Force Field Dynamo. Just a shield, a free action shield on all allies. Not that impressive, but good if you're running a shield slam group. But I think there's way better shields than that. Gamma Augmentation, free action, gains a bonus to attack and accuracy, increases when hit by enemy attacks, stacks up to 3 times, 1 ally. So this is actually a semi-emerald prism in the sense that when you are attacked, so if you had a tank, let's say your agent or a Wonder Man or a Null or Groot or anybody, applying Gamma Rage to them, it has a 1-round cooldown and it's available for 3 rounds unless it's purged. So that means you could cycle this on your entire team. Gaining an attack and accuracy is almost like having a Warbringer axe to a certain degree, and it stacks up to 3 times, so you could constantly hit one person over 3 rounds, or just get the whole team rolling with it. I like this, and as a free action, I would be inclined to use this. If I got this, I would take my Cosmic Shielding away, and I think I'd actually put this in and dump that on Molly every chance I got, because slapping that on a tank, and a tank with an elite ISO, ooh, really sexy. The first of 2 goblin items on our little countdown over here. It is a free action with a 60% chance to cower. Not bad. Really good if there's somebody on the other side that you just want to hopefully lock down, like maybe Enchantress or Pesty or something. I would rank that one fairly high. Heroic Charge, free action, morale boost for all allies. You know, actually, this is not too bad. Unless the buff is really low, but it can, you know, easily be purged. I kind of think this is pretty good for a free action. There's some other things that do it, and honestly, Rising Up might be more beneficial, but, you know, if you got that, I'd rank that one as a medium. Impending Doom is the Doombringer. The current version is farmable. Drained Energy. It is a 1-round cooldown, a free action, and subtle. Not too good in PvP. Absolutely humongous for PvE. Very well known for being used on group bosses. So the amplifiers are making an appearance now. These are the class amplifiers, similar to the augmenters and the enhancers, which are farmable but not quick actions. So this would be a quick action with Snappy Service because it's a buff, but it is not inherent to the item. Well, now it is, and all infiltrators gain agile and strengthen, and they have a 60% chance to apply targeted with single target attacks. These are really good if you run a class group. Might not be too bad if my all bruiser defense ran the bruiser amplifier or something. Infinite Inoculation, free action, restores stamina. Very, very low in PvP. Potentially good in PvE if you were doing like the Iron Man Unibeam spamming. The Jade Prism, the free action version of what I have in the Emerald Prism's glow. So this is the Emerald Prism, available for you for free, no gold, don't have to go back in time to have gotten diamond in that PvP. I think it was the Bishop one. Well, that might have been the Mystic, I don't remember. But this is the thing that Kingfisher got me going into videos, as I've said before. I have made extremely good use of with Molly. Had hoped to use it on Karnak, but that was a whiff. Might be good if Gambit still has his infinite bug. Any of the multi-attackers or multi-defenders, I would consider this an absolute super high item. Now that it's a free action, why not? Yes, you have to have a certain kind of person, either a multi-attacker or a multi-defender, for it to really ramp up But, you know, you could apply this to a scrapper, and, like, this, if the scrapper double punches on an infiltrator, it works. As a free action, if you get it, I really think you should slot it. Can't hurt. Jump starter looks like the bifurcator. It totally is not. All allies gain energized. Restore stamina to all parties when used. 2-round cooldown. Free action. Again, absolutely atrocious for PvP. Pretty good for PvE, possibly. Key of the Nile. Similar to Source of the Nile, except they split out the effects from the rectifier. Again, starts cooldown. Stupid. Causes damage after performing an energy attack. Right now, in today's meta, not really that big. I rank it as a low. The laser beacon. Pinpoint target. Quick action. There are definitely things like this in the game. Good if you're running a Heroic Age Hawkeye or a Kate Bishop team. They're not too common. I would rank this one as a low. Lightning Strike. Here is the one for Mr. Wyatt. The thing he's wanted so much. The thing he's wanted the way I used to want the prism back in the day. Quick action, Storm Herald, strengthened. This is the epitome of things you want for static-y groups, electric groups, Burb, Thor, Victor, any of those kinds of guys. And now it is a quick action, whereas previously on the Roaring Thunder it was not unless you had snappy service. I would rank this one as a high because it is a guaranteed strengthened. I would rank this one as a super high if you run any kind of a electrical group. The CMFG in its new form, now as a free action, I would rank this one as a high. Because again, for the custom magnetic field generator, not a quick action unless you had snappy service. I would definitely run this in PvP, especially on offense when you can make good use of the extra turn. I would rank this one really high. The Menacing Pulse looks like the Monstrosity and acts like the Monstrosity. You are unstoppable, and the entire enemy team is intimidated, reducing their attack accuracy and evasion for 2 rounds. This has a 1-round cooldown. The previous version was not a quick action and would only be a quick action if you had the newest tactician suit. So that's pretty good, and this is actually a free action now. They could have gotten away with making this a QA. A free action where the passive means you are unstunnable and you weaken what's on the other side. Yeah, I would rank that one high, medium, low, high. Mirror Field Dynamo. Free action. One ally gets Mirror Field where you absorb damage harming the attacker. Similar to what is often called a glass shield in some games. It just, or like Thorns or something like that. Retribution Aura. It just, you know, I would rank that one as fairly low. Mirror Match. Free action. All allies gain mirror images. Yeah, as a free action, not a QA, as a free action, I would rank this up at high mid. Everybody getting mirror images, especially in today's, like, maybe counter and follow-up heavy meta, not that good for, like, pesty chanty, but, like, the quick groups, yeah, and, you know, that's slottable on defense. I don't think that's too bad. Well, Tesseract device. This one is very awkward. It is, of course, based off of the farmable Tesseract simulation device, which is not a QA. It says Cosmic Divide automatically dodges most attacks from targets without Cosmic Divide. So in other words, on the other side of the divide. Can be damaged by targets inflicted with the Cosmic Divide, while active attack is increased, but the target takes damage each turn. Cosmic Rift, chance to hit all targets. Targets caught within the Cosmic Rift are split. I think they just basically reduced the wordiness of it. I think it is pretty much the same thing, but a QA version. Interesting. I would never trust this for defense. but it might have a slight PvP effect if it is guaranteed that people on the opposite side of the divide from you are going to whiff, but it's very random how it's going to appear. I would say unless you had a theme offense, I would rank it as low-medium. Mutagenic Manipulator, which is of course a take on the prototype and mutagen emitters, a free action, one ally gains a beneficial passive mutation. By the way, I will show you the mutations. They are strange, to say the least. You have a quarter of a chance of getting either Blazing Speed, Healing Factor, Mutant Linguist, or Unbreakable Skin. So you basically have a 75% chance of getting something interesting. The Mutant Linguist does nothing. I did tend to see the Mutant Linguist a lot. The rest were about fairly even when I actually used to use it. Again, this was not a quick action unless you ran Snappy Service, so they upgraded it right to free. I would rank that one as fairly low. Nano Aid, which is a take on the Nano Nurse. It is a free action restoring health over time. So this is similar to like what Angel does, or the Benediction with the Staff of Asclepios. It's not bad, and now that it's a free action, you could probably get away with it on defense, but you never know who it's going to get used on. Low medium. If you had no other heal, maybe. Obsidian Cane is probably a take on that Kingpin Cane. Offensive Drive, free action. One ally gets strengthened for 3 rounds. You could, again, get the whole team strengthened with this, but it's only 1 buff. It is guaranteed, but it's only 1. I would consider that fairly low. The Overwatch Protocol, which looks like the Chitter Chatter box, but acts like Cyclops. Combat Awareness performs a counter against the next single target attack or area attack. Free action. I would rank this one high for any acceleration groups. If you need to accelerate your team by making sure that they get an extra attack in, very good for all the counter teams and everything. Very good if you're setting up on a counter team. Yeah, I would rank this one fairly high. As a free action, it gains a lot of benefit because it won't consume the QA. Mutagenic Manipulator, we know that one. Oh yeah, went back a little bit. Paladin Defender, looks like a power cell, but it's the Paladin Array. It is a free action that says you protect allies from single target attacks and take reduced damage. Available every round. Not bad for a defensive agent on offense or defense, because this applies directly to the self. This has use in defense and offense. I would rank this one as low-high. Personal combat boost, quick action. You are fortified. You are strengthened. Up every round. Available for 3 rounds. This one, I would actually chalk this one up to medium, medium, high, medium. This is not too bad to gain 2 rising up style buffs for the cost of 1 QA. QAs are at a premium now, but that's not too horrible if you get it. Power Amplifier. Damage Amplifier. Target takes 50% extra damage. Only up once every 3 rounds. Good if you had some mega attack that you wanted to nail somebody off the field for. Not the greatest item. Quantum Entanglement grants other 2 party members an extra turn. Only 1 extra turn taken each round. But it starts cool down. Good for like a Dr. Voodoo thing, a Mark of the Brotherhood kind of thing for mutants. If you had a theme, I would rank it as a high. If you didn't really have a theme, I would rank this as an absolute low. Quantum Flux Capacitor, if I remember, is trash. Yeah, restores all stamina, increases damage of the next attack, drains all stamina, only for the agent. This is a variant of what's available in the store. I tried to damage amp Quantum Capacitor one time. Was not really impressed. I thought it would be a good combo. It sucked. Scrapper Amplifier, we could guess what that is. Swift Support, This is the sudden support as a quick action. You right then and there just get a buff to increase stats. Starts cooldown. A lot of people still kind of run this in PvP. I wouldn't trust it for defense. I would rank that one as a low, little higher for offense. Target Painter. One person gets weak point. Next attack is guaranteed to hit and crit. 4-round cooldown. Cooldown is too long. Pass. Low. Theological Belt, related to the suspender, protects allies from single target attacks and a 50% chance to counter if attacked. Not bad for use with the Emerald Prism. Nice little combo over there because you could jack yourself up on free actions. Terrifying Goblin Visage, related to the other one, only a 30% chance to cower. Timely Chronolift, related to the Chronolift. Future Glimpse. A glimpse of the future allows the agent to protect an ally from an attack. If the agent's health is low, they'll preemptively counter the attacker. Unique item, but it starts cooldown. It is a 2-round cooldown. I can't imagine that many situations where that would be really good. Tony's Heart Tickler, related to the Foleys. This was a quick action when we got the new tactical suit. It is not now, unless you are running that tactician suit. So they said it's a quick action. It removes buffs and causes bleeding. I would rank it as a low, but if you absolutely were running into teams where it was really important for you to remove a buff, there's worse. Treasured Nornstone, not to be confused with the Emerald Prism. It is a 3-round cooldown that grants to the self, the agent only, a boost to all stats. This effect can be applied multiple times. It doesn't say where the cap is. It does say that one application lasts 100 rounds. And it applies immediately to the self. I would rank this one as a medium if you were running a defensive agent on defense, because you would only apply it to yourself. And, I mean, boosting your stats potentially every turn. Maybe comboing this with another self, like damage reducer or shield. I could see somebody making a team and including that. The Turbo Overdrive. Chrono Overdrive. Deals extra damage on the next attack. No starting cooldown. 3-round cooldown. Again, better for a themed team. Otherwise, I rank it as a low. And my favorite stamina supplier is the Xanthine Alkaloid Infusion. All allies restore 1320 every turn. It is available every turn, but it only lasts for 1 turn. If you want to restore stamina, I'd say go with that and restore it in style. So, there is my take on the available QAs at the moment. Some of them, of course, don't have tooltips yet, so we only know. Feel free to leave in the comments which ones you got, which rankings you kind of agree or disagree with on me. And definitely stay tuned for Fridays a Week in Marvel Avengers Alliance. I think it would be a fairly short one. Not much to talk about this week, other than the dailies, other than a little bit more PvP. The top 1% is shifting. I predict the top 1% is going to be about 1350. Now, it was down about 1250, so good luck, guys. Hope you get everything you want out of this PvP, and I will see you tomorrow. By the way, looking forward to still doing that Skyforge video, and if anybody is a iOS or Android type person, whether it be phones or tablets, I really recommend this little game here on this home screen. See the Fallout Boy? That is that little Fallout Vault game. I really like it. Really, really fun game. I play it just about daily along with a few of the Marvel games like MFF. Really, really fun game. It's like Sim Tower, just underground and with radiation and raiders and people who have sex and make wasteland babies. So, take care, everybody. Hi, Earthus. I make room